me feel good.
So, thank you for joining me on stage 28, the left exhaust pipe. And I apologise for the funny camera angle. I'm going to have to work across today, and you're going to see lots of different changes of camera angles. I've got the chassis out ready because for the next 2 episodes we're going to be working on this side. I'm going to have to move this camera around, so I'm going to do lots of cuts. So the first thing I noticed is that we have a large number of screws, but we're only using like 1 or 2 each, with the exception of 1. So BM and EM, AP, CP and HP we only need 1, GM we need 2, and IP is the only screw of significance where we need 5. So we will begin with, for the first few stages, I'm just going to call these pieces of exhaust pipe. I know that's a muffler, and these are obviously exhaust pipes. So we're going to start off with this piece, 28B, and this is a rounded piece, sort of 4 sections, 4 edges. You see where there's bends, 3 bends in it, and that's going to go into the muffler. And I can see that that's the incorrect piece, because it actually wants one with lots of holes, which is this piece, and it is labelled L, which is quite useful. Now we want 2 holes together there, and we want the 2, see those 2 are further apart, and this piece of exhaust pipe is going to go on there, and that will be screwed in place with an IP screw. So really I should have got that ready, and once again I've lost my screwdriver. I've said this before, if you have a towel and a screwdriver the same colour, you are asking for trouble. So I may have to do a cut while I find it. Yeah, I think I will. So my apologies for that. I actually popped it down somewhere for safekeeping and forgot where I popped it down. So we get an IP screw, and we're going to bring that piece of exhaust pipe into, are they called it? Yeah, the muffler bottom, this is called. And once that's in, we can let go of it, and then just every now and again just check it's in the right position. And the tighter this screw goes, the easier this will be. There you go. That exhaust pipe isn't going anywhere, and you can begin just after 1 piece. You can start to see where this is going to go size wise. So this piece is going to go onto there, and you know it's the correct piece because you've got this kind of square piece. This piece is, it's got that sharp 90-degree angle, but it doesn't create a square in the same way that this one does. So IP screw again, and I don't think I've ever seen an exhaust pipe on a scale model this long before. I know we had a long exhaust pipe on the Routemaster bus, but I don't think it was this long. Correct me if I'm wrong. So now that we've done that, figure C, we want to put the muffler into place, and trying to see if it can go the wrong way. Right, there is a correct way because there is a locating peg there. Are you going to come into focus? Nope. So there is a locating peg there, and if you hold it this way, the locating peg is quite hard to see, but you want it on the left hand side. I will try and put it on the wrong way round. Yeah, if you put it on the wrong way round, the screws aren't going to line up. So I don't know if you can see the gap there, but if you put it the correct way, it goes in perfectly. So again, 2 IP screws, And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop one in just so that it bites, and then I'll pop the other one in all the way. What a beast this is. I've got a feeling now, looking at this screw hole and this locating peg, there might be a bit of flipping around to do on the chassis. There we go, yeah. Okay, I've just had a quick look at the instructions ahead, and I can see there will be. Right, so next stage is that we want to continue this this exhaust pipe. Now on the end of 28D, which is the piece coming out of the muffler, we'll call that going into the muffler and this one coming out. There's a little notch on there. If it ever comes into focus you'll see it. It's just there. And then this one has a little cutout, and that will fit into there like so. And we need to pop an HP screw into there. So HP screws. See how this one's going to go. I'm not sure the best way to do this, because this is quite long. It's actually making it quite heavy, in the sense that things are heavier. Like if you have a seesaw, if you place things on the edge of the seesaw, it creates more counterbalance than if you place it in the middle. So if you hold it there, it's actually quite heavy on the opposite sides, when you consider it's a piece of plastic. So there we go, that's in place. So the next thing we want to do is, and there will be some flipping around, I'm afraid. So it's going to go this way, so you've got the muffler, it goes up into the muffler and then comes down, and we're looking for a screw hole with a locating peg, and I think it's there, so let me move you around. Right, so you can see there, if you look at the engine there and you go straight up, then come across, there's your hole and your locating peg, and that will coincide with these two here. And I think I need to just change the lighting. With this being silver, there's too much light bounce, so that's going to go into there, and there we go. And in actual fact that stays there quite nicely as it is. So next step, we want to take this pipe, and this is quite interesting because, right, we actually want to put this pipe in before we put this in. So we're trying to create it, and this will go in with an AP screw. That's going to go in. Wow. Okay, so we have, right, so let me change the angle and bring you in closer, and I can't because I've run out of wire on the camera. So let me reduce the size of these legs to bring you lower. So right, so we see there's a little silver piece. Now they've called that 6E, which is the left exhaust manifold. So we actually did this 22 weeks ago, and what we want to do is take this piece, so you can see that there's like a locating peg there and a screw hole, and we want to just bring that in behind, and I'm really sorry but my fingers, right, so if that's the left exhaust manifold, you want to bring this in and then hook it in, and then it will just find a place to go because of the locating pegs. And having said that, there we go, that's in. So that's actually quite comfortable there. So we want an AP screw, and this is quite a thin screw, so it's obviously not going to add a lot of strength to it. It's just going to secure it in place. So again, you're probably going to be block taped by my hand, for which again I apologize for, but I need to hold the part while I screw it in. And is that going in? That is the question. No, it's not. So now I have a screw stuck in there, which I can't get out. God, I wish there was an easier way to do this. I wish there was an easier way to film it. What you want is a little microscopic camera. I can't get that out. I wonder if I can get at it from behind with the part. There we go. So I think I'm going to have to pull the part towards me as much as I can while screwing it in. I'm going to use a different, thinner screwdriver, and I'm kind of semi-working in the dark here. So that seems to be having some resistance. Yeah, that's going in. And you'll have to excuse me for my alarm. I set my alarm the other day to get up at this particular time. I think I've said this on camera before. I'm just going to move it slightly. Yeah, and I set this alarm and I never actually unset it. So it goes off every single day at this time, which is difficult to explain when you're driving a bus. Right, okay, so I really am struggling. I need to hook the part out so that it gets more grip. Do you know what? I'm not sure if that's loose or if it's attached to a flexible part. I think that's actually attached to a flexible part. Let me see if I can get a light in so you can see what I can see. So the focus is really terrible on this, and in fact I can't get the light to stay. So the part is in there and you still can't really see it. There it is. So you can see the screw hole, the screw, and I think that's in as tight as I can, and I'm wobbling the part, and it's not going to come out, but I think it's actually attached to a flexible part. I'll give it another screw. Oh, now that's... Yeah, I think that's the best I'm going to do. So, the next step then is to get in the exhaust, and that's going to click in again there. I did show you this earlier, and all that's going to happen, quite simply, is that this is just going to pop onto the top there, and that's just going to be a push fit connection, and that's a really good fit. And then if I move you back to this angle, you can see that the muffler is attached there. And then what we will do is from the opposite side, I won't take the camera around with me, you'll have to believe me. We're going to have to attach that muffler with a CP screw, which, as you can see, is a long thread. So as you see, as I push it, it does push the muffler out. So I'll just hold that in place. It's not difficult to screw in, it's just very long. Right, there we go, and that's in perfect. Very happy with that. So it adds an awful lot of colour, doesn't it, with the silver against the black. Right, so the next step is we need some brackets. Check I've got them all. And these are the brackets we're going to be using, and it looks like we're going to screw these down, and these are going to hold the exhaust in place. So on the wheel side of the exhaust, again I'm going to have to move you around. My apologies. So on the exhaust side of the wheel, sorry, on the wheel side of the muffler, there's two holes there, and what's going to happen is there's one peg for a screw and one for a locating peg, and that's going to go in like so, and that's, as you can see, that's going to clamp the exhaust down, and that will be secured with a GM screw, and we will need another one shortly for the next stage. And that's quite interesting, because this clamp isn't actually making contact with the exhaust. In fact, it's not even making contact with the chassis. So what has happened there then? Okay, that's not wanting to go in. That does not want to go in. So I suspect let's have a look at these brackets. Yeah, I think I've got the wrong bracket in. So I do apologise, you have two brackets that look very similar, but you can probably tell from there one's a left bracket, one's a right bracket. So let's try again, hopefully with the correct brackets. It would also explain, yeah, there we go, so that bracket is making contact with the exhaust, and the locating peg did fit into the hole rather snugly, and the screw didn't want to go in the hole. Now this screw is going in there really nicely, very nicely, and that muffler is no way is that moving now. That's stuck in there. So the next bracket that we want to put in is going just the other side of the muffler, and it's there, and that will be this piece, and that's going to go in. You know, I'm going to use tweezers for this one. So that's going in again. It's got a screw hole and a locating peg, and that's not going to stay in. So let's change our angle of approach. So we'll put the screw into the muffler, into the bracket, and then we will bring it up, holding the screw in with our screwdriver. Obviously, if that was a snug fit for you guys, then you wouldn't need to do it this way, but that's going in nice. So be careful. I'm noticing that the other side of the exhaust is rattling. Right, that's a little bit too loose for my liking. That's much better, much better. So right, so we have secured the muffler from the other side, We're also looking for an IP screw. Right, so okay, at this end, the other end, I do apologise for the camera angles. So on the wheel arch there's another hole, and there's on the other side of this there's a screw hole. You need to just manipulate that a little bit like so. It's not going to stay on its own, my one isn't. So that what we want to do is we want, oh, I'll just drop the light, that's okay. So I want to come in at that from the other angle, from the other side, with an IP screw, and that will secure that part of the exhaust pipe. So let's hold that in with my hand, and I'll just move this just so I can find the hole, and that's not it. Oops. Okay, I'm going to have to do it slightly differently. So I've pushed the screw through the hole, and I'm going to bring the exhaust pipe up to meet it. And once it's met, I'll just give it a couple of screws, and that's holding that. And then I can see I've lost the screw now, and I'm hitting my head on everything. And it doesn't help that my microphone is in my headphones, so every time I bang my head you probably hear it. There you go, that's in securely. I'm happy with that. So I can see some more locating areas. So fit in the bracket, right. So we're now after, okay, so we have another bracket, which is this one, and that's going close to the speaker, and that's going to go in on the front, just to the other side of the speaker. So let's see if we can locate that. Right. I think it's going to there. Okay, so there's a locating peg there, and there's a screw hole. So I think that's where it's going. And there we go, that's in place. So that wants a BM screw there. Why, I'm not sure. But so obviously if you were doing this yourself, I would say have lots of light, because the light is really working against me, or the lack of it. So there's the BM screw. So I'm guessing in reality this would be really difficult to change this exhaust pipe. You would probably have to cut the pipe out, unless they're joined there. So okay, lovely, that's the BM screw in, and the next screw is going to be an EM screw, which is going in there. So let's find the EM screws. I put them away so well I can't find them. And that's going into there. I wonder if my screwdriver is going to be long enough. Yes, it is. So that bracket's not going anywhere now. And then, right, and that is it. So I was expecting another stage because we have this piece left over, but it does say in the magazine this is what the assembled piece should look like, and there is just underneath the build there is a little tiny piece. So whew, that's it, that's stage 28 complete. So let me give you a wider back view. That is now the exhaust pipe gone in, and as you can see, absolutely amazing. I have one concern, which is this bit here. It looks like you've got two bits there that should be connected to something. Obviously we haven't finished this area yet, so it may all come into place, but you know, it is a concern. Obviously we've not connected these yet, which I think are something to do with the suspension, but they will come in. And there's no loose wires, no loose pipes, which I'm very happy about. I did have concerns before. Looks like there will be a pipe going on there at one stage, but yeah, all of these, remember I had a jumble of wires under there which I was concerned about, but they've been covered up. And there's the engine, and yeah, I'm really happy with this build so far. So if you haven't subscribed to it, I would recommend it. It's a big beast, and there's lots of work to do on it. However, I need a cup of coffee now, so I will hopefully catch you next week. It's definitely going to be next week. I've looked at my schedule, and this is actually, I'm still in the middle of catching up with videos. I should now already have issue 36 by the time this goes out to air, which is why I'm doing 2 videos a week. Once we get caught up, which will probably be round about end of November, beginning of December, it will drop down to 1 video a week, obviously once I'm caught up. But yeah, hopefully you're enjoying the 2 videos a week. So I will catch you next week, which is stage 29, the right exhaust pipe.